Good morning, everybody. Happy Vision Friday. So excited for today. I'm excited about every day. I'm excited about being consistent. Really excited about being consistent. I'm really excited about today's live because today's live is kind of like a personal. I resonate with today's live very, very personally because it's a struggle that I have had to learn how to adapt to and how to overcome, especially in essence of being consistent in my business. And then for those who don't know, my business is 624 Visionaries, where we are a creative consulting and coaching company that emphasizes on you're coming to us for the creative solutions, but we inspire your $1 million ideas. And with that being said, I am Ty Young, and I am a creative consulting coach and business consultant. And basically, I help entrepreneurs and women in leadership. I've struggled with my audience for a little minute in that who do I really serve? And I've always I've thought that I've served men and women. And while I do have ideas and thoughts that can help men, I do understand that I navigate more to women in leadership and women in business and just connect more with those with that audience. So yeah, that's who I'm serving. Women in leadership and business and entrepreneurs who are, working in their who have a desire to build big brands, okay, who have a desire to build big businesses, big visions. I kind of want to be like a fairy godmother, right? In the sense that while I'm working with these individuals and helping them to achieve their own successes, that I'm acting in the space of like the mentor and the coach and the leading professional. So that is my desire here on this journey as a creative business coach and consultant. So if you are watching the replay, please hit hashtag replay because today we're talking about mastering the clock, winning back control in your entrepreneurial journey, right? So that's what we're talking about today because a lot of us struggle in this area in our entrepreneurial journey. And we want to deep dive because it's like I said before, this really resonates with me on today with this constant tug of war that we're going in while we work a regular 9 to 5 job, and then also explore our entrepreneurial dreams and just have and want to have an overall personal well-being in our lives. So I really want to just kind of unravel the art of mastering this in this space on today because like I said, a lot of us struggle with this, and then we I don't want us to struggle with this anymore, but we can't begin to stop the struggle if we're not even talking about it and understanding where we're coming from, right? So yeah, that's where we're at on today. So first things first, we want to talk about just kind of like everybody has the same feeling, I believe, just being pulled in so many different directions. I know I deal with this on a daily basis. So, for those who don't understand my background, let me explain. I have been in the property management business since the early 2000s. I can't even think of, I think I started in 2008. Yeah, 2008 is when I started my property management journey, and it has been going from there, right? So, I work a large property, which is about 600 units, a little more, almost 700 units. I'll put it like that. I have a very large team, constantly in demand. people calling me left and right all the time on my 9 to 5. I'm never off because I'm the property manager. So I'm always on call. So when there's an emergency, I'm the first person to call, and then I relay that information down to my staff and those who's either on call or my maintenance supervisor or my engineer or the engineer that works at the site, something like that. So always in demand. So then on top of that, I am trying to build a multi-million dollar brand because that's my goals. My goal is to be a multimillionaire. My goal is to have a multi-million dollar brand. Um, those are my goals in life. And then also I desire a personal life, right? So personal life meaning taking care of my son, taking care of like making sure that we have time for vacations, and money for vacations, right? I want to have a husband, so I'm dating and all of these things. So when we talk about mastering the clock and exploring our like winning back control in our entrepreneur journeys, that little tidbit that I deal with on a daily basis, it's probably common to what you're dealing with on an everyday basis, and you're being pulled in every single different direction in your life, and that's one of the things that's kind of like hindering your progress, because you're being pulled in many directions. Like imagine waking up every day, and the minute you wake up you already feel behind, right? You already feel like, dead, I got a to-do list that's a mile long. You want to fulfill the job. Like me, I gotta fulfill my job. Like I wake up now at 5 o'clock in the morning. I used to didn't wake up that early. You used to could not get me to wake up that early. Oh, and then I left out a part. Like, so on top of my 9 to 5, on top of trying to build a multi-million dollar company, on top of trying to have a personal life, I also desire to have a spiritual life because not everybody desires to have a spiritual life. So on top of that, I need to give God time. I need to pray, read my Bible, and some days, okay, I don't have it all together. Some days, something or two or three, and maybe I only get one thing done, like successfully that day. But sometimes I don't get to do all of those things. So it's like sometimes when you haven't acknowledged, that you've been pulled in so many different directions, things kind of get lost. Like you're in the circus, you're juggling balls, right? You're trying to keep all the balls in the air and circulation and going forth, and then it's like a constant state of flux. But we want to get out of that, right? But sometimes you can't help that. That's just life, and that's just kind of like what you got to deal with. But I did want to just, acknowledge, like, a lot of us are having, like, a lot of us deal with this. A lot of us have this journey. A lot of us have um this same experience in life, that, hey, I'm just being pulled in a lot of different directions, um, especially when you're trying to still have a business, still have a life, still do spiritual things, and then move forward in your entrepreneurial journey. So again, we're talking about mastering the clock, winning back control in your entrepreneurial journey. Okay. So then the next thing we're going to move on to is, how does this like really impact our personal well-being and our business health? Because let's be honest, when you're stretched very thin, it does impact you. It impacts your schedule. It impacts your mental health. It impacts your well-being and impacts your business health. And you don't want those things to be impacted. You don't want those things you don't want to be stretched so thin that you're just overly exhausted from trying to make these things happen. You don't want to get stressed out. You don't want your relationships to suffer. You Now let's talk about relationships. And let's be true. Let's be true, clear, and honest, right? So relationships will struggle in business, especially when you're somebody who has a business and you really being business. I mean, you standing on business, you want this business to do something, and you still have a job to do. Romantic relationships will struggle if you don't partner with somebody, or you're not dating somebody that understands where you're coming from, that understands your life, that understands your desires, that understands what you're trying to accomplish in your life. So aside from married folks, because y'all have to figure that out. I'm not married, so I can't tell you what to do in that area. But besides the married folks, like if you're dating somebody who does not understand, who is a complete distraction, like forcing themselves to be a distraction, not a distraction because you're all in love, not a distraction because you want to take some time out to make room for them. I ain't talking about that distraction, but who's a complete distraction, who's not allowing you to do what you need to do in your business, give you that time to work, give you that time. Like they always want to be under you, and you're not having time to kind of focus on your business and the things in your endeavors. Then you need to kind of walk away from that person, because that person is hindering you. That person is going to be a downfall to what you're trying to do, right? So we want to acknowledge that thing, right? So yeah. So again, when we're stressed in, and it's not, and it's not just our schedule that suffers, it's our health, our relationships, and our businesses that we're working so hard to grow, right? So then we get stressed out, we get burned out. We have this Sometimes we have this nagging sense of dissatisfaction. Sometimes I get that. Sometimes I could be feeling like I'm trying to do so much, and then I have moments of feeling like a failure, or feeling like I'm never going to accomplish my goals, even though I know within my hearts of hearts that I'm going to accomplish my goals. Sometimes I do. I have moments where I'm praying and I'm crying and I'm like, God, I'm such a failure. God, it's like I'm never going to overcome this. God, I keep making the same mistake. I keep doing this. I keep doing that. All of these different things. And it's just all in emotions, because it's like you just have a desire and you want things to come. But then we still have personal things that we have to overcome. We still have personal uh inward challenges that we still have to overcome. And that is why we have to be conscious about not being spread so thin in our entrepreneur journeys, and then just kind of moving forward. So it's crucial for us to recognize that how we manage our time directly affects not only the success of our business, but our overall quality of life. Time management is the major key to your success. And shameless plug, I talk about time management in my book, How I Fumbled 10K in Business, a guide to avoiding my costly mistakes and building a sustainable business. The book is available on my website, 624visionaries.com. Okay, but time management is very crucial. That is something that you're going to have to get embedded into your soul if you want to have a successful business, and also if you want to have an overall great quality of life. Okay. So, and that helps you to avoid to be stressed thin by really thinking about time, by really acknowledging what time is, by really placing a tremendous value on time and how important time is. Okay. The next thing we're going to move on to is just acknowledging the struggles of prioritizing tasks effectively. I used to have this problem. Sometimes I still do have this problem. Because sometimes I have this problem because I have so many different ideas going on in my mind, right? And there's so many different things that I may want to launch, so many different things that I may want to focus on. And I have to constantly pull myself back and say, okay, now it's not the time, girl. Now it's not the time for you to do this. Now it's not the time for you to just now it's not the time, right? So when you think about prioritizing your time or prioritizing tasks, it may sound a little bit straightforward. Like who doesn't know how to prioritize tasks and do them right? But sometimes there's conflicts, right? You get conflicts in your deadlines and the times you want to achieve those things. You have competing responsibilities, competing relationships, competing all types of things. Your children can compete with your business, right? Not in a bad way, but they compete with you because they want time too. They want things to do too. They want to go somewhere. They want to go on vacation for their birthdays. They want to go out to eat. They want to do this. They want to do that. So we'll have competing responsibilities, not only for the business, but in our personal lives too. Then we'll have unpredictable life that happens, right? So it's important that we acknowledge our struggles in prioritizing the tasks that we have, going on. Because life is gonna life, and you just don't know, right? You may get surprised to go on a special weekend for Valentine's Day, and then now you have to figure out what you gonna do. Do you go do this surprise, or do you got to make room for the unpredictable life, right? So you have to determine, how do you decide what get your attention first? What gets your attention first? What get what do you prioritize in order of its importance, right? And then the urgency of the job task often overshadows the importance of strategic business actions and personal care. And then sometimes you go through a cycle of short-term fixes rather than long-term growth. So you kind of always have to keep that in mind as you're doing things. It's like just constantly preparing and conditioning your mind to just run a business effectively, to run your life effectively, to have your spiritual life moving in tandem with what you have going on. So again, going back, we're talking about mastering the clock, winning back control in your entrepreneurial journey, because that is what's so important to us. For those who are still working 9 to 5, those who still have entrepreneur endeavors, who still have personal lives, and then we'll add the fourth component, those who also have spiritual lives and they want those spiritual lives to thrive, right? So the next point we're going to talk about is the conflict between your job demands and your entrepreneur aspirations, because it's gonna happen. We have those things, and it's just gonna happen in our life. So many of us are caught like in this delicate dance of fulfilling our job demands while nurturing our entrepreneur aspirations, right? So it's a delicate dance. It really is. So with me, like, although I enjoy being a property manager, I'm not going to lie and say that I don't. I enjoy the responsibility. I enjoy what I'm learning. I'm enjoying what I get out of it. I enjoy the fact that I'm in leadership. I enjoy that part of my job. But also, I want to nurture my entrepreneur aspirations. I also want to nurture the business that I'm trying to build. And sometimes it's a delicate dance between those two, because sometimes when I'm at work, my job is so demanding that when I get home, I'm not in the mood. Okay? I don't want to talk. I don't want to look at another computer screen. I don't want to do anything. Sometimes I really just want to come home, get in my bed, pull the covers over my face, and go to bed. Take a hot shower, take a hot bath, and just kind of like soak off the day. But that's not always possible, right? That's not always something that I'm allowed to do. Keyword allowed to do, because my business also demands me. My business also states to me, like, I understand that you have a job, but also this is something that you decided that you want to do. So because you're deciding that you want to do this, I'm going to ensure that you keep moving forward, right? So this conflicts between our job demands and our entrepreneur aspirations. It's a conflict that tests our limits and forces us to question where our true priorities are. And the reason why I love this, especially for entrepreneurs who are still working 9 to 5, I love this for us. Why? Guess why I love this for us? Because when it forces you to pull out what's important, it forces you to push back everything that's fluff, everything that's just like these vanity dreams, these vanity goals, these vanity options that really don't make a whole lot of sense that we need to be doing. It forces you to kind of push that out of the way and really focus on what you really want to do. Because you don't have time for vanity. You don't have time for irrelevance, right? You don't have time for things that don't matter. You only have time for true things. You only have time for things that matter, that are important, right? And so we want to balance these aspects for our lives. And when we do that, it often means we are sacrificing um, things in multiple areas to support another one, right? And then we have to determine, count up the cost. There's scripture that says count up the cost. So we have to count up the cost, meaning counting up what we need to sacrifice, what it's going to take, all of those things, and then finding a harmony between these roles, you know, and sustaining the momentum to keep the passion not only for our jobs until we begin to make that exit plan in fulfilling full-time entrepreneurship, because I'm sure many of us desire to be in full-time entrepreneurship. So while that is our goal, we still want to, you know, be aware and acknowledge the conflicts that we have in our dreams for entrepreneurship and our job demands. Okay. So then lastly, we're going to move on to just emphasizing the desire for a structured routine that can accommodate both, right? So I know sometimes it don't seem like it's possible, but what if I told you it is possible to create a structured routine that accommodates both your job and your business aspirations? It's very possible, and that's something that you can achieve and it's achievable, but you have to be willing to put in the work to create the routine, right? You have to be willing to set the routine. You have to be willing to stick to the routine. You have to be willing to be consistent to the routine. You have to be willing to respect the routine. Okay. You have to be willing to do those things in order for it to work, right? So a routine just doesn't survive the push and pull of your daily demands, but it also thrives within all of that, right? So the secret lies not in working hard, but you got to work smarter. We don't have to work hard. This thing between our jobs and our entrepreneurial endeavors don't have to be hard. It could be, you can work very smart and accomplish what you need to accomplish, right? You got to understand the rhythm of your life and design a schedule that aligns with your highest priorities. That is the major key. Designing a schedule that aligns with your highest priorities and what you're trying to do. And just can you just imagine the sense of peace that will come with knowing that you have a plan in place and it supports your life and it supports your business goals and it supports your spiritual goals and it supports your personal goals? Like, how amazing would that be for you? So we're going to wrap it up because we're getting to that 30-minute mark and I like to cut it off at 30 minutes. And just kind of like, so I just kind of want to bring those things to your attention because I am in preparation of launching on-demand course. It's just like a little one-day course that you could take, but it talks about these frustrations. So this, like, it talks about the frustrations of like you just feel like you don't have enough time. You feel like you just not gonna make it, and you feel like, how do I master the clock? How do I, balance, get into this balancing act? So I have a blueprint foundations. That's why I'm calling it a one-day blueprint foundations course that you could take on your own. It's going to kick off on February 27th. It'll be an on-demand course. It's basically just kicking off the start of your visionary journey, right? For those that desire to really build something, right? For their businesses and things like that. And so in one of the parts of the course, it's going to teach you how to design that schedule, design that schedule and that structure, for your business, and how to master the clock. Right? Master the clock and win back the control in your entrepreneurial journeys. So it's going to be like, this is going to be like an in-depth, one-day intensive that you could take that I'll have on demand. And it kicks off February 27th. So I can't wait for you all to just get into this class and really get something out of it. So in the meantime, you can go to my website, 624visionaries.com, and you can download my ebook which is How I Fumbled 10K in Business, a guide to avoiding my costly mistakes and building a sustainable business, right? So in the meantime, you can do that and you can check that out and things of that nature. And yeah, so that's Vision Friday. I hope, if this meant something to you, if this resonated with you, please share it, because other people need to know that they are understood and that somebody resonates with what they're dealing with in their entrepreneurial journeys, and that it is accomplished. We can accomplish our goals even while still working a 9 to 5, and it's very, very much possible. So we, just kind of want to take those things into consideration and just kind of move forward so that we can have these thriving companies and be the best that we can be. So I hope to see you all again next Friday for next week's Vision Friday. Again, follow me on social media, on Instagram, on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Follow me on those social media websites, because that way that you can get the access to when I launch the pre sign up for Blueprint Foundations class. Okay, so I thank you for joining me. Please, if you watch this on a replay, please let me know that you watched it in a replay, and I'll see you all next Friday for Vision Friday. Bye.